Alright, so what you're looking at here is about a 14-pound brisket that I got from Sam's. It's the whole brisket, not the flat. If you're not familiar with what that means, there's two parts to the brisket. Typically what most folks are used to getting is this area, the flat. This kind of big area here is the point. A lot of people will chop the point after cooking it or do something called making burnt ends, which is probably my favorite thing to do with a brisket. Before you get this thing ready to go on your smoker, there's a couple things you need to do. First is trim off a lot of the fat. As you can see, there's a pretty good layer there. I want to get it down to about 1/4 inch. I find that any more than that really isn't necessary. And then I'm going to remove a lot of the fat that connects the flat to the point, which will make separating it easier. Once again, it's really not necessary as there's so much fat there. Once that's done, I'm going to inject it with a mixture of beef broth and coffee. I like the flavor that coffee adds to an injection. Then I'm going to throw a little mustard on there and my rub. And don't be trying to read what my prescriptions are over there, by the way. Once that's done and it's injected and slathered and rubbed down, it's going to go into the fridge overnight, and then I'm going to throw it into my drum smoker. I will come back in a few minutes and show you how much fat I've removed so you can get a good idea of what it really takes. See you soon. That is all the fat that I removed from the brisket. That's about average for how I like to trim it. This is the opposite side of where the main fat cap was, and when I cook in a drum smoker, this is the side that's up. So this will get mustard and it will get my rub on it. Now, as I talked about the point and the flat earlier, you can kind of see as I've taken away all that which was filled with fat, and this kind of area here will become the point, which I will make the burnt ends out of. And then this top part here will be the flat. Basically, when the inside of the flat hits 190, 195, I'll check it to see how I feel from the texture of the meat. Then I'll separate the point and the flat. I will chop it up into nice cubes. I'm going to turn the flat. Up the basket. So as it Alright, it's looking pretty. It takes open, usually open necessary. That's just a little shows to hold down for the thermometer great as it can, and then one good motion barbecuing. You never want to know to see just maybe a cherry. The fat side down, which I'll leave 3 hours minimum, maybe even 4. Before I know. If you're looking, you ain't. Okay, I've got the temp 2 and some a couple hours or so. Look. The top part here is up. Look at that. A little couldn't. Hope you learned. I'm going to turn the flat. Up the basket. So as it. All right, it's looking pretty. Takes open, usually open necessary. That's just a little shows to hold down for the thermometer great as it can, and then one good motion barbecuing. You never want to know to see just maybe a cherry. The fat side down, which I'll leave 3 hours minimum, maybe even 4. Before I know. If you're looking, you ain't. Okay, I've got the temp 2 and some a couple hours or so. Look. The top part here is up. Look at that. A little couldn't. Hope you learned.